to patch in for the Teaching the UK webinar and information session. So tonight, what the idea will be, or this morning, or just today, I should say, will be to give an overview of going to the UK and partnering up with ANZ UK, and then also just all the things that we hope you'd sort of need to know about the move itself. So I know for a few people, it might be the first time you've traveled over to the UK, and maybe a place you're returning home to, or it could be a place you're completely familiar with because you've had friends who've done it before. So we'll talk through everything, and we'll give you an overview of all the steps within the move to the UK. The slides, we have about 23 to 24 slides to go through. We may skim through a couple of them. That doesn't mean they're not important. It just means that we've got a few to work through, and we don't want to keep everyone much longer than what we need to. There will be time, as I mentioned, for questions across the whole webinar. Post into the chat, chuck your hand up. We will have question time at the end as well. So if you want to just, let us know, some questions. If you want to wait right to the end, that's 100% fine too. So we'll jump on into it. So without further ado, we'll do some of the introduction. So my name is Tyler, and I'm the recruitment team leader from ANZ UK, and I'm working out of our Collingwood office. I'm originally a PE health teacher. I trained in Victoria University. I taught with ANZ UK, doing some CRT work in Melbourne before making the journey over to the UK back in 2016, where I taught for just under a year. I lived in East London and then taught in West London, and then had the opportunity to do a lot of travel around the time too when I was teaching, and then ended up jumping into our London office, where I worked about 3.5 years as a consultant. Sat in the very room that Jamie sat in, myself a fair few times too in the London space, and then worked for about 3.5 years in London, supporting educators who work locally, and then end of 2020 made the journey home, and then started working essentially on our global opportunities team, supporting educators with their journey from Australia and New Zealand over to the UK. So I'm based in Oz, and my role on the team will be helping everyone on the call get connected with the likes of Jamie and the likes of Mia over in our UK offices. So moving over to the UK was easily one of the best decisions I personally ever made. Big advocate for anyone who can do it to make the plunge, jump on the big tin bird and make it happen. It's an unbelievable journey, which we'll talk about. And absolutely love my time over there. So I'm excited to learn about everyone else's journey. And it might be myself you speak with, or it could potentially be my colleague Claire from New Zealand, who is based in New Zealand, who helps everyone from NZ to the UK, or potentially my colleague Jackie, who manages some different states across Oz. So that's me, and a little introduction to our global ops team. But Mia, give us the rundown of yourself and where you're tuning in from.
Hello, I'm Mia. I'm tuning in from currently Newport in Wales, in South Wales. Originally, I'm from the South Wales Valleys. For university, I lived in West Wales on the seafront, which was really quite nice. And then I moved over. I worked in London for a little while doing a different type of recruitment. And then I moved back to Wales, and I sort of fell into education recruitment. I did a psychology degree. So I started off doing more sort of working with ALN schools and special needs provisions. And then I've sort of moved more into this sort of role now, where I sort of cover everything. At the minute, the areas I cover, which are primarily me, is more sort of like Cardiff, and then north of Cardiff, you have like Caerphilly, the Valleys areas, Newport, I help with Newport, and anything, basically the whole of Wales. So if you end up wanting to come to Wales, it'll be me who is your contact, and I'll hold your hand through it.
Amazing, great to know that too. And a lot of people might not be aware that we do support educators over to Wales as well. So if that's a new idea for you, then it's definitely a cool experience to make that journey over to Wales. Anyone who's ever partnered with us to go over there absolutely loves it. So if you wasn't across your radar before, hopefully it is now, and it could be something you consider doing. So thanks for that, Mia. And Jamie, give us the scoop from London town.
Hi everyone. I'm Jamie. I've been working in the London office now for 9 months. Obviously, this is, I believe it's the biggest office in the UK. We work all over London and Surrey as well. So our regions are northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. I'm over on the northeast team. living near the Hackney region, you'll hear a lot more about sort of like the different areas of London that you can live in. Prior to this, I was a teacher as well. I was teaching English as a foreign language in a number of different countries. Did a lot of traveling. Obviously, that came to a rather abrupt halt a few years ago, as I'm sure it did for everyone. So I've been in your shoes as well, like moving to a new country. You know, I know all of the stress and all of the things that you have to organize in order to kind of sort your life out, but also know how exciting it is as well. And yeah, for those of you moving over to London, I'll be able to, you know, to give you loads of advice on how to settle in and yeah, just the whole process, really make it as easy as possible for you and as smooth as possible.
Yeah, amazing. And thanks for that, guys. And what we really want to learn a little bit about everyone on the call was where everyone else is tuning in from. So I've just posted into the chat, where is everyone tuning in from? I know there's a few Melburnians on the call who mentioned it before. I think Jenna said from Melbourne as well. And I think maybe Paula it was, I believe. So if everyone just wants to post into the chat just where they're from, and then we can learn a little bit about each other on the call too. Oh my, we're very Melbourne centric here, which I love, which is good. So we've got a bit of Tasmania, Cora, and I know also a few educators I may have been speaking with before. I think I'm looking at all the names, but looks like definitely a fair few new names as well, which is great. So hopefully everyone is familiar with ANZ UK to a degree. If you're not, then obviously we'll run through everything throughout this webinar too. So what we'll cover. So introduction to ANZ UK, global travel updates, the visa, compliance, working in UK schools, the type of work that's available, looking at your ideal role. That's a big part about us, is finding out what role that you'd really resonate with, and then trying to get you that essentially and working backwards from there. Relocation bonuses, that's more like of the or that the stuff on the left is more of the nitty gritty. The stuff on the right is you know, a bit more of the fun stuff, if you would. You know, where to live, you know, setting up for life, the community groups that we create, the events that we host as well, PD, resources, the local knowledge and insight, which is great. Obviously, Jamie and me have been in the UK, and obviously looking at, yeah, just getting over there as well. Obviously, international travel's been, like Jamie mentioned, very difficult over the past couple of years, but the prospects are pretty positive on the horizon, looking at 2022, 2023 and beyond. So, yeah, lots to work through, which is good. So, Jamie, I think you were going to give us a bit of an introduction to ANZ UK as a whole.
Yeah, so obviously ANZ UK, look, we're a global agency, and we work in Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, the USA, and New Zealand as well. And basically the whole idea of our business is finding the right educator for the right place at the right time, and that's what we're going to be aiming to do with you guys as well. You know, we want to make sure that we're finding the right school for you guys. Obviously, you're moving to a completely different country in a completely different surroundings. So our whole promise is ensuring that, you know, we can find the right school for you, really, and find the right environment for you. And obviously, we're trying to find the right teachers for the schools that we're working with as well. So that's our whole core promise, really, is that we you know, we want to make this as an exceptional experience for you in the school as possible. So yeah, that's our whole job, really.
Yeah, 100%. And in terms of, like, obviously the focus for us is going to be on the UK side of things for the call. But if you are thinking, you know, I'm going to the UK in 12 months, you know, I'm really keen to get some work beforehand. A lot of people are in Melbourne at the moment too, which is really relevant. So if you're looking to get set up with work locally, whether you're a teacher, teaching assistant, you want to do some temp work, or you might even want a contract before you go, reach out to myself and we'll put you in contact with the team. Obviously, I'm working in our Collingwood office now, so we've got quite a big presence in Melbourne specifically, and also across Australia, in New South Wales, and also in Queensland and the ACT. And then you're probably thinking some other areas might be of interest to you, which is great. That's what we want to hear. Unfortunately, we do have Canada on there, just to let you know that you may see it on our website. We support educators leaving Canada, not going to Canada. So just anyone on the call, you're like, I've seen Canada, I'd love to go work there. It's an area that we support educators that are leaving there. The USA, again, you might see this on our website. The only available for educators who have an American passport. So we do trade under Scoot Education in the USA, but only if you have an American passport, unfortunately. unfortunately. And then the other one is New Zealand, where we trade under EP Education. So if you've done your 2 years in London and you just don't want to come home for whatever reason, you want to go keep on jet setting abroad, we have a team member based in the Bristol office. Her name's Annika. She'll support educators leaving the UK, and whether that's coming back to Australia or whether that's going to New Zealand or maybe somewhere else potentially we might be able to support you, then just keep us in the loop with your plans. And then we always want to support you, whether it's at UK or back in Oz or New Zealand, wherever it is too. So we just want to ask a question too, another quick poll. Has everyone been to the UK before? Well, actually, I think I've just sent that to Lauren as a direct message. Not that I didn't want to send it directly to you, Lauren, apologies, but I'll go again. Have you been to the UK before? Is a question to everyone. Is it the first time? We know it well. Amazing, me. We've got Haley was born in Wales. How great is that? So we'll touch
Amazing.
on yeah,
the best people are.
Yes, exactly, 100%, which is great. So it's really good to know we've got a bit of a mix here too. And in terms of like a bit of an update on what's going on at the moment in the UK, Mia, did you want to give us a bit of a scoop on, I guess, like what life is like in England and Wales at the moment?
Yeah, so we're pretty much back to normal, which is great. All restrictions are lifted. The majority of the people, I think, 8% of the population received their boosters and had their first 2 vaccinations as well. But yeah, it is life as normal, which is actually quite nice. So festivals are all back open. Concerts are all back open, and it's almost like it never happened.
Yep. Which is good. And do you have any trips booked, Mia or Jamie, that we're getting overseas for this Euro summer?
I've just come back from Romania. I'm looking at going to Amsterdam next week. We're off work on Thursday and Friday, aren't we? Because it's the Queen's Jubilee. So I'm thinking about Wednesday after work, fly out to Amsterdam. It's like an hour flight from Bristol, which is 25 minutes from the office, and then come back on Saturday. And then I'm looking at the south of France for summer.
Amazing. That's so cool. I love that. And Jamie, yourself?
Yeah. So as you say, man, we've got the Queen's Jubilee holiday coming up next week, Thursday and Friday. So I'm going to the far reaches of Bournemouth on the south coast for that. But I've actually saved all of my holiday for the summer. So I've barely taken any time off basically since I joined. And this summer I'm going to Barcelona in a couple of weeks' time for a festival, and then Canada in July, and I'm traveling around Canada and then the east coast of America as well. I haven't been abroad since 2019, so I am very, very excited about all of that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's amazing. What a cool summer there, Jamie, as well, which is great. And the beauty of living in the UK, which is obviously, and we'll talk about this a bit here in terms of, the life experience, travel around the UK and Europe. Canada and America is not that far as well. So, Jamie's attesting to that too. If you want to jet set over abroad, it doesn't have to be in the UK, it doesn't have to be in Europe. You can travel a little bit further afield. So a quick question we just want to ask everyone too. When is everyone planning to travel to the UK? So we'll just got that as another poll. Everyone just want to post in there as well. Amazing. Next year, Jenna, which is exciting. Awesome. A lot of people next year, which is cool. So most people next year actually. So, and we'll talk through arrival dates and when you can arrive as well. In terms of my summer holiday plans, I can actually say summer holiday because I'm actually myself going to UK and Europe again too. So I haven't been back since 2020, but my partner and I, we've got a wedding in Devon. If anyone has a quick Google search of Devon, it's a really beautiful part of England, which not everyone's ever heard of. I think it's right next to, is Bournemouth in Devon, Jamie, or is Bournemouth in Dorset or Sussex?
Bournemouth's in Dorset, Devon is just north of Cornwall, but that's part of England. When you get here, that is the #1 holiday destination, I would say anyway. It's one of my favourite parts of the world, Devon and Cornwall, just stunning.
It's unbelievable there. So we'll be there for about just under 3 weeks actually. So we're back there for a trip. So lots of stuff to get excited for when you're living in the UK or traveling there. Jumping on Skyscanner and clicking London, Bristol, anywhere is a really good way to plan your trips, because you can literally find yourself, you know, we went to Bulgaria for a ski trip for a week because it cost us about 40 quid to get there, and practically nothing when we were there. Like me, I'm sure you might have used Skyscanner when you went to Romania. So nice
Yeah.
little tip and a trick for everyone. Yeah, pick the airport and then click anywhere on the end of it, which is great. So, but yeah, in terms of why I teach in the UK, there's so many reasons, which I'm sure a lot of people on the call may have spoke to someone who's been before, may have heard about it, you know, or just have interested in it. So there's lots of different benefits. Just from, you know, personal growth, you know, you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you're taking a risk moving to the other side of the world, developing more cultural awareness, experiencing living in a different country, you know, career development as well is another big one. You know, whether you're looking for supply work or long-term work, we'll touch on, but if you do look to take up a contract opportunity, which we really do promote to consider when you are in the UK, at least for a period of time, you know, the UK curriculum is highly regarded internationally. So if you do a year stint in the UK, your employability on the flip side back to Australia and New Zealand is a lot higher. And if you have a reference from a head teacher as well, just hold you in great stead for future job applications. PD, you learn a lot as an educator when you're teaching in the UK. My experience was teaching in the London schools at what's called a pupil referral unit, which is a school which caters for students with challenging behavioural difficulties. And it was a very challenging environment, but it was really rewarding as well. So I learned a lot about my teaching and working in schools, and then done casual teaching in the UK, which is called supply teaching, and learned a heck of a lot then as well. And then just a life experience, you know, a few of these photos, which actually the photo from a few slides ago was from a class of welcome event that we had, which Jamie actually co-hosted at the Roebuck pub in Borough, near our London office, where all educators who have arrived to the UK are welcome to join in and make some new mates from across the across the world, really. So you'll meet lots of people at events with ANZ UK. We promote sporting clubs as well that we've got affiliations with that you can join, and then yeah, you get to travel communities of expats, internationals. You know, there's lots of really exciting things that you can explore and learn when you're traveling over to England or Wales. So we'll do a quick little overview in the process, just so everyone can think, oh, it's great, you know, it's so good to hear all these amazing things. What's this isn't like the end of the presentation. We've still got a good 40 minutes to go, but the steps that you'll follow, hopefully with ANZ UK, will be if I haven't already spoken to you, or one of our team here in Australia and New Zealand hasn't spoken to you on the phone, that will be the initial contact. So we'll look to catch up with you, talk about your preferences, understand about your move, when you're looking to go, run you through the visa. Because you've already listened to this webinar, you would have got a lot of exposure to what we talk about. So the call would be a little bit different to someone who hasn't tuned into webinar, but you'll get that experience anyway. And then if you're within 12 months of your intent to arrive in the UK, then what we look to do is get you in contact with the Mias, the Jamies, the schools team over in the UK. And then they start the process to assist you getting work all set up, develop the relationship with you, learn more about you as an educator, as a person, get to introduce to the team. Then we look at the compliance process as well. So you need to, because you're working in a new country, you need to look at police checks. You need to, well, I wish I was getting handed a coffee, Paula. That's great service there. I can see that. I love that. And then we'll run through that. We have a compliance team whose job it is to assist with getting everyone cleared on the call so you can work in a UK school. We also look to make sure you're registered before you arrive in the UK. So that way, when you touch down at Heathrow Airport, you touch down at Bristol Airport, you've already done your registration, you're cleared, you're ready to go, or Cardiff Airport, wherever it is. I know Bristol is more of an international one, but wherever you land, you're cleared, you're ready to work, and you can go teach in a UK school straight away. And we'll talk through the references and all that stuff that we need to get prior to then. But the idea is that, yeah, the moment you touch down on UK soil, you're available to work the very next day if you wanted to. But yeah, guys, as well, feel free to post any questions into the chat as well. I know we mentioned that before, but feel free to to chime in at any point. The next couple of slides we'll talk about some location options as well. Jamie's just going to run us through what it's like to live in London, and then touch on Surrey as well.
Brilliant. Yeah. Cheers, Tyler. So obviously, look, London is, there's no secrets about London. It's obviously one of the most famous cities in the world. It's an absolutely fantastic place to live. There is so much to do here that I mean, at times it's almost difficult to actually know where to start, to be honest. I mean, there's the theatre. There's amazing sporting events all year round. Obviously, the weather is erratic at times, but at the minute we are experiencing a really nice spring. And I think most people that live here will say there's not many better places in the world when the sun's shining on a summer day. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got great transport here as well. We've got the underground service. Any booking that you'll put in really around the city should not really take you longer than 45 minutes, to be honest, because the transport is so good and it's so many places are well connected. You can see here in terms of some of the costs. I'm sure you will have been made aware that London is not exactly one of the cheapest places to live. However, obviously, the payoff in terms of social life and sort of way of living is great. You can see there some of the rent costs in terms of if you're sharing a room. You're looking usually around 600 plus a month, and then in terms of if you want your own kind of small studio or bedroom flat, it's usually around kind of sort of 1,800 around that. But that can come down as well. There's loads of websites as well that can help you find the right places for you and things like that. Day-to-day
sorry
costs.
to jump in there, Jamie. So we'll share those in a later slide as well, like how to find accommodation.
Cool, perfect, yeah.
There's the websites which you mentioned, Aussies and Kiwis in London. There's some other flat share websites that are more local ones, spareroom.com. Our Facebook community groups are really
loads on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, heaps to be able to find there as well. Most people share house too, just as a precursor. The vast majority of people will be flat sharing with other people in the UK just to cut down on costs. So but yeah, sorry, Jamie, mate, keep on going there.
No, yeah, good. But yeah, as I say, it's just it's a fast way of life. It's absolutely, like I say, there's just so much to do, but the culture and obviously the history of the city is just fantastic. It's almost like that clash of modern and old in a really kind of just an interesting place to live, to be honest. And obviously we also work in Surrey if you fancy a more kind of country feel, more countryside lifestyle. We do have an office in Surrey and we do work with schools in that region as well. Obviously a little bit cheaper. We do work in some bigger towns like Epsom, Guildford, Woking as well, which have good transport options. And also actually if you wanted to kind of work in London but live outside of London, that's an option as well, because some of these towns have great sort of transport links into your main hubs like Clapham Junction and things like that. But yeah, like I say, there's a large variety there of places in the southeast, depending on what you're looking for, really.
Yeah, spot on. In terms of work available, you could do casual contract or permanent work in any of that surrounding areas of London. London's a big beast in the sense it's a massive city. So we've got 4 teams there that break up London: the northeast, which Jamie works on, a northwest, a southeast, and a southwest. So if you would look on a map, which we don't have up, there's a big M25 ring road that goes around London, and pretty much anywhere within that vicinity, we could support you with work. So if you want to live a bit more outer, that's great. I personally live with Jamie, who supports educators with work in that Hackney area. So it's definitely a good recommendation. But if you're feeling like you've got some recommendations such as Clapham or Fulham, Peckham, Bermondsey, Camden, wherever it is, there's plenty of cool spots there as well. So also you go, Jamie.
I was just going to say, obviously, we have a large Aussie contingent in the Clapham area. Really, that's where a lot of our overseas educators do tend to settle. But I think a lot more have started spanning out recently as well.
Yeah.
It is just dependent on what you're looking for, really. I mean, obviously, the Northeast is great for, it's got a great social life there, loads of cafes, bars, things like that. As I say, Clapham, there's a large kind of overseas community there, and if you want a more kind of quiet and I don't know, easygoing lifestyle, shall we say, then the West is really good for that as well, and some beautiful areas around there. But yeah, there's some great areas all over London, really.
Yeah, I'll just quickly show everyone too, and I'll post this into the chat as well. We've got some really good area guides, which I'll just post into there too. We touch on this a little bit later into the webinar, but if everyone on the call just bookmarks this link, it's on our blog page as well too. So if you just look through there's some really good guides that breaks down all of the different areas in London, Surrey, Newport, and then also in Bristol and Wales as well. So in Bristol and then over in Wales too. So yeah, keep an eye out on that page. We won't go through that specific blog in this webinar, but it's some good further reading for everyone to have a look at. So, but Mia, do you want to give us the scoop on, you know, what it's like over in Newport/Cardiff in Wales, and then also in Bristol too?
Hello, yeah, I'd love to. So we have Newport, which is where I am right now. Newport and Cardiff are two of our Welsh cities. They're actually 10 minutes away from each other on a train, which is a bit insane. But I used to live in the centre of Cardiff, and I would jump to come to work in a different city, and it would take me 20 minutes with a walk either side, which is a bit crazy, really. Cardiff has a little bit of my heart. It's a bit of an arty city. It's absolutely beautiful, and the people there are just amazing. There's just like a bit of everything there. It's sort of the perfect size. I think it's like sort of like the perfect like starter city in Wales. Like, it's a really good place to then go out and explore the rest of the places from. I mean, if you're living in the centre of Cardiff, you can get to the centre of the valleys in 45 minutes on a train, and that can look completely different. You could be in the Brecon Beacons, which is like full of mountains. You'd never think that you were that close to the outskirts of a city. Basically, you can live here for about £250 a month for a room in Cardiff or Newport. Is quite cheap, if I'm honest. The cost of living is quite a little bit lower here, and obviously you do have the links then to sort of move, like, or you know, travel out on your weekends and things like that, which a lot of our people do. Cardiff, I'd say, is marginally more expensive than Newport, but not much. £800 a month for a 1 to 2 bedroom flat in Cardiff. I'd put that as a 2-bedroom flat, really. When I was living in the centre of Cardiff, like right in the centre, I was paying, it was £755 between two of us. They have now put that up. So I think £800 for two is probably a little bit more of a true reflection right now, with, you know, the cost of living just going up slightly, but it's more than doable on a teacher's wage here. A lot of the people who work in Cardiff and live in Cardiff still have the ability to save and travel as much as I wish I could. So it is amazing. But yeah, travel, I'd say going up to the valleys and stuff, it can be a bit awkward, if I'm honest, to travel around there without a car. But I think if you do sort of set yourself down within a city first, like you going from the cities out is very easy, and there's enough schools around those areas that it's not a problem at all. Bristol is just across the bridge, so from Newport to, say, the centre of Bristol, probably going to take you about 30 minutes into England. Bristol is very artsy. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love Bristol. And you have, you know, again, the lots of little different types. You have more of like sort of the music sector, like the arty sector. They have a really good sort of rave. You have a really good weekend there if you really want one. But yeah, it's slightly more expensive to live in Bristol, but again, it is nothing that, you know, as a teacher in Wales or Bristol, you will be able to do. So yeah, if you have any questions like further than this, let me know, or just send me an email, because I love speaking about Wales.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. And
Yeah.
in terms of the other areas too, so Bristol specifically, there are some areas around Bristol, such as Bath or Swindon or the Dorset Exeter area as well, more in Devon, that we can support with work. So if you're thinking more country feel too, that's southwest of England and parts of Wales, not just in those major cities, we can support with work. The regional locations across the UK, so the cities we've just mentioned and the surrounding areas, we can support for casual work, day-to-day, contract or perm work. If you wanted to go move up north as an example, or in Yorkshire, Manchester, Birmingham, wherever it is, we can't support for casual work there. It would only be like a long-term role. So if you are looking to get set up in the areas that we've mentioned, which are all amazing places to live and to teach, that's where we can, the majority of the relationships we have with schools are in those certain areas. And to touch on what Mia and Jamie mentioned too, as a teacher who's lived there before, the teaching wage is obviously is something which is very workable to still have savings at the end of the week to travel and be able to book your trips away to Greece, to Spain, to Cornwall, wherever it is. So you can definitely live a comfortable lifestyle on the teaching wage over in the UK too. Obviously, you need to be smart and savvy with savings as you do anywhere. But yeah, definitely it is a really workable wage. So another question, guys. So just want to know, where in the UK would you like to live? Hopefully, Mia and Jamie have coaxed you into Hackney or Wales. But if it's not there, feel free to post.
Yes.
So we've got
Got
one.
a Cardiff.
Yes, which is great. So amazing. So everyone feel free just to post into the chat where you're thinking you might want to set yourself up and live. Amazing. I can see Bath, Chloe, there too, where we can support with work in Bath. That's obviously one of the cities right next to Bristol, which is really good. So, and then a few Londons as well, which is great. Some smaller rural smaller schools too, which is awesome. You know, a lot of these areas we can really open up opportunities to. And then I like that, Maddie, not 100% sure yet, which is great. The beauty is you don't need to make any hard, fast decisions now. Even if you started working in Bristol, you can then to let us know you wanted to do 6 months over in London and then shoot over to Wales as well. You can jet set around pretty easily too. I know, me, you just mentioned a question around Scotland. Unfortunately, Scotland isn't an area that we can support in. To get registered in Scotland, which we'll touch on the UK, England and Wales registrations, it is quite difficult for overseas teachers to get it, to get registration there. So unfortunately at the moment it's just England and Wales where we can support with work. So and Mia, did you just want to give like on this slide here, just moving through, just a quick little overview of the type of work that's available? I know there's a lot of writing here, guys, and we'll share this slide back too. So don't sweat if you're like, oh my God, there's a lot there. We share this with you too, so you can read it afterwards. But yeah, Mia, what sort of work can people expect to do when they're over in the UK for a teacher or a TA?
Literally, I think the easiest way to think about it is any role within a school that you can think of. We've placed sort of lunch cover up to head teachers, and everything in between. But as a teacher, you know, we get a lot of sort of nursery, reception, again, the leadership positions roles. We get SEN and ALN co's, which are, I don't know if they're called the same where, you know, where you are, but they are people who sort of organize supply, like organize the support that certain pupils get if they get like a one-to-one support. So we do roles like that as well. That can sometimes be on the side of a teaching role. We do anything. So in primary schools, they're called year 1, year 2. That's key stage 1. That's like lower primary. You know, years 3 to 6 is key stage 2. That's upper primary. And then if you go into secondary schools, it's all the ages up to sixth form. You probably already know this, but after children finish their exams at 16, they can either go to college or stay on at a sixth form. So we support both of those. That you could do more sort of vocational stuff at that level, or, you know, continue your studies and do more of an A-level sort of thing. If you have the experience with teaching that, it would be amazing to hear about it. So any sort of support staff roles. So if there's children in the classroom who are struggling or have some sort of additional learning needs, which makes the classroom environment a little bit harder for them to work in, we do one-to-one roles. So sometimes it can be, you know, a half-day one-to-one where you help them work with their reading, or, you know, if you support a smaller group of pupils. We have higher level.
Oh, Mia, we've lost you. We've lost the audio. Jamie, can you hear Mia? Okay, you're on mute as well.
I can't hear me.
Oh,
no.
sorry, we've lost you on the mic there. I'm not sure what's happened. You've patched
Sorry,
out.
did you hear me?
You're back now. Oh, perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's so weird. I couldn't hear you. Anyway, sorry, I couldn't hear you either, and
Yeah.
I was just kept going. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Cover supervisors. That's when the work's already sort of set within a classroom. We just go in and manage the classroom. But anything really. If there's anyone who is more sort of interested in, you know, working within special needs provisions, like Tyler mentioned before, he works in the pupil referral unit, and we can support you with those types of things as well.
Yeah, amazing. Apologies, guys. I didn't ask this question right at the start of the call, and thanks, Mia, for running through that. Just wanted to know if everyone's what everyone is on the call in terms of within the education space. So, an experienced teacher, a graduate teacher, or support staff, or TA as well. So, everyone just feel free to post into the chat your level of experience or your profession within education. But in terms of like my own experience being, an Australian or Antipodean educator making the journey over, there's lots of similarities in the curriculum. So for yourself moving over, you'll have a really good experience transitioning to the UK. The schools we work with are really supportive of overseas trained educators because they understand that there are some nuances that everyone needs to adapt to. The biggest thing is just the terminologies are different, such as the key stages, some of the acronyms you're not familiar with. We'll touch on what a QTS is. It's not called recess in the UK, it's called break. There's not a principal, they're a head teacher. Just those little things that you just adapt to and familiarize yourself with. Then we just support you with that process as well. But a really good mix of different educators too here, which is great. So mostly teachers, it seems too, which is really good. So the types of schools at the bottom. This is a big part of us developing a relationship with you too. So if you've got a preference for working in single-sex schools or co-educational schools, private, Catholic, independent, whatever it is, we really want to support you with work in that space and hone in on your year groups and your subjects as well. And then we work with a wide variety of schools, as there is anywhere. There's a broad spectrum of schools in the UK that vary from, great places to work that are focused on teaching and learning, and some other places where the behaviour management may be a bit more of a focus. The biggest thing for us is they're good staff environments that people want to go back to and you're happy to work there. And if you don't love a school for whatever reason, just let Jamie, Mia and the team know, and you don't have to go back there. We can really support you with that if you're doing supply work. So Jamie, do you just want to give the guys on the call just an overview of what sort of work is available when we're journeying over to the UK?
Absolutely, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, I just heard a sound in my earphones. I got worried there. So yeah, obviously, look, I spoke earlier about, obviously one thing that we really try and do is make sure that we're finding the right role for you and the right teacher for the school. And so for that reason, we offer obviously a variety of different kind of roles depending on what you're looking for in your current situation. So obviously we do supply day to day. That's going to be for people that want to keep it really flexible. So if you're coming over here and you're thinking, do you know what, I do want to move to the UK, but also I want to have the option of traveling for a few weeks. And maybe Mia has made Wales sound so good that you're thinking if you move into London, but you want to have a week-long trip in Wales or something like that, then yeah, you might want to keep that really flexible and hop on the ambassador contract, which I'm sure you'll hear loads more about later on as well, and just do your day-to-day supply. We've also got a great app called Ready to Work, so you literally just hop on that app and you can set your availability and block yourself out for any days that you don't want to work, so you can build your schedule around your needs basically. Obviously as well, we do long-term supply bookings as well, that will be more advantageous if you're looking to settle in somewhere, really build a relationship with a class, build a relationship with a school. The pay obviously changes, so you will be paid to scale based on your experience, basically. So obviously your day-to-day supply rate will be a little bit less than what it would if you got into a longer-term booking with a school. And yeah, it's just a really good way if you're going long-term to, like I say, build that kind of long-lasting relationship. Obviously get a reference from any teachers that you might be working with, and just be really familiar with the area and really settle in. And obviously if things go really good and you love the school so much and the school loves you so much, there's also the option of going permanent as well, and that's when the school will directly offer you a contract and come to us with that offer, and obviously we can sort that out on your behalf as well. So it really does depend again on what you're looking for. A lot of people that are coming over in the summer, we're currently looking at September roles now, to be honest. So if you're coming over say July, August, and you're wanting long term, we're more than likely going to be getting in touch with you very soon with various offers all around London. The work is there, so our aim is to get you kind of placed in a role that's good for you kind of ASAP really. For those of you that are coming on supply day to day, like I say, we'll more than likely be talking to you about the ambassador contract, which will give you kind of guaranteed work during that time. So yeah, loads of options for you really depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, spot on. And then in terms of those interviews, well, they can be organised before you get there too. So Jamie and the team will be supporting educators for September for the Skype interviews to be starting in the new academic year. But it just doesn't have to be the start of the new academic year. It can be in January or it can be in the summer term next year. So just let us know if that's what you want. And then the team will work with you to support you with that role. So that way when you touch down to the UK, you've got a job lined up and you've got that peace of mind around job security too before you get there. Jamie mentioned a few things around the ambassador bonus too. So this is essentially like the relocation offers that are available with ANZ UK. So if you sign on to the guaranteed work scheme, the ambassador contract before you get to the UK, you'll be eligible for up to £250 off your flights once you've worked a term within that contract. And then you also get $50 off the visa support reimbursement fee if you're going on the youth mobility visa and ancestry visa, which we'll touch on in a few slides. And that's essentially doing casual work where you're guaranteed as many days as you like, up to 5 days of work a week. The long-term bonus, so if you do want a long-term job, you're not interested to do the casual relief circuit, which is totally understandable. If we support with a role before you get there, it's up to £500 off your flight. So that would usually pay for your one-way ticket over, not first class if anyone has a bit of a bougier travel habit. Usually an economy ticket, you'll be covered, but in terms of that, and that's yeah, again, once you've worked a term in that contract too. And then this one here, if you have any people in your network, mates, friends, family, from university, whoever it is, we wouldn't want a financial reason to be why you would refer someone on to ANZ UK. However, if you were to do it, there is a bonus at the end of it. Once they've worked 10 days in the UK, you'll be eligible for up to £100 bonus. That's also for local work too. We should actually change the slide because if anyone has friends who want to work in Vic, New South Wales, we offer a similar sort of bonus too. Just so everyone knows. This point here, we won't complicate or bore everyone on this point, but just so everyone knows, when you go to the UK, there are a couple different ways you can get paid. The English and Welsh, the Brits have done an amazing job of complicating the pay system. So when you hear about day rates and stuff like that, you'll be present with them, might be through an umbrella company or directly through PAYE. We offer both forms of payment method. So just speak to the team and we'll talk you through the differences. Fundamentally, they're pretty similar. The biggest difference is just how your national insurance comes out of your pay. The work you get doesn't differ. Your pay slips just look different is probably the easiest way to put it. So don't worry about this too much, but it's just something to be aware that it's just not the same as here in Australia and I believe New Zealand too. If you've got any Kiwis on the call, that it's just two different ways to get paid, but it doesn't affect the work you get at the end of the day. But cool, we're just moving through. We've got about 15 minutes to go, guys, and I reckon we're actually doing all right with time too, so we'll probably be able to cover most things. We might have to squeeze through the last couple of slides, but just a quick one too. I know Paula has a question, looking for work as a groundskeeper. So yeah, in the UK, you don't need to have experience to work within schools. You'll need to pass all the relevant checks that we'd put through in terms of compliance, references, the interview process. But yeah, if you've got a partner who's a tradie, 100%, they can work as a caretaker in a school. Mia hit the nail on the head before. Anything you can think of in a school, from the front desk to the head teacher and anything in between, there's opportunities in the UK. It's lots and lots of work available in education in the UK. So yeah, feel free to bring your partner along, Paula. I could see he handed you a coffee, so I know he seems like a really good individual. So we'll be happy to help out and have a conversation with him too. Jamie?
Can I just say quickly, we did literally just place someone from overseas in a groundskeeper role as well, literally last week.
Amazing.
And I'm currently working on a groundskeeper role. They really tend to be hard to fill. So yeah, if he's looking for groundskeeper, I'm sure he'll definitely get work without a doubt.
Yeah, spot on. And we've touched on this slide a little bit as well. I know, Jamie, you're going to take a lead on it, but just want to give like a quick little overview, just in terms of like how to get around in the cities, London specifically, and you maybe touch on some of the other areas too. And yeah, just run through a bit of this.
Yeah, cheers. So yeah, as I said, we did touch on this earlier. Mainly in London, I think a lot of options most people will end up in a kind of shared house situation. I know some of the figures that I mentioned might have looked a little bit startling or whatnot. Just from my own perspective, just to let you know, I'm paying 1,200 a month.
Well, Jamie, now we've lost you sound wise. Sorry, guys. Or hopefully my mic continues to
Huh?
work. You're back. You're back. Yeah, all good. I'm due to mine will drop out soon, no doubt. So,
Yeah.
but you're back.
Yeah, so yeah, like I say, I'm currently paying £1,200 for a two-bedroom flat actually in northeast London. So the like I say, those prices do kind of vary depending on the area. I'd say the northeast is the more cheaper area, to be fair. But yeah, a lot of our overseas educators are in shared house situations. Obviously, you get an opportunity to obviously, if I were you, I would get temporary accommodation initially and go on those visits, look at those houses, make sure you're actually seeing them in person, because you can never tell from a website really. You know what you're getting in for, basically. In some arrangements, I know as well, you get to meet the housemates that you'll be living with and things like that, which is also a good way for you to ensure that you don't end up with a bunch of people that you don't like, basically. So yeah, as Tyler mentioned as well, we've got loads and loads of websites, Facebook groups that will help you with different properties all over the UK, really. And then in terms of getting around, I'm not 100% familiar with what it's like in terms of cycling around Wales, Mia. I'm going to assume that it's quite hilly and quite
Yeah, you wouldn't cycle around the valleys unless you had really, really strong quads. But around Cardiff and Newport's fine. The cities are flat. So yeah.
Are they good with cycling lanes and things like that as well? You're on mute.
I think she might be getting called or something.
No worries.
That's all good. Yeah.
Well, just in terms of London, I mean, we've spoken about, obviously, in terms of the public transport, you've got underground, overground, you've got national rail. You will get kind of familiar with traveling around London so quickly because it is just so easy. You can use a contactless card to get around as well. I think most of you will probably end up having Monzo accounts because it's just the easiest bank account to use, and you'll get a card with that and literally just tap on and off for any transport that you want. Cycling is great around London. It's flat. There are loads and loads and loads of cycle lanes everywhere. It's really, really, really well connected, but it's also a beautiful city to go walking around as well. Obviously, especially around central London, some of the walks around by the river are fantastic, but also as well, we've got, like, in some of the areas, loads of canal networks and things like that as well that you can walk around and help get you to different boroughs. Driving, I would not recommend, to be honest with you, around London. It is, to all intents and purposes, most people say that it's an absolute nightmare. I myself would never drive around London. So yeah, I'd say public transport, bike or by foot are probably the best options in that regard.
And that's when you can save a bit of money too, comparatively to here in Oz, because I know most people on the call would have a car here in Australia or New Zealand. If you don't, then obviously that's something which you've been familiar with, that it's not as expensive when you don't have a car. So yeah, you do save a bit there. I personally got my bike and rode everywhere in London. So yeah, definitely promote to do that as much as you can. And yeah, jump on all these sites. These hyperlink out when we share the blog page. So we share the PDF slides after, and you can click on all these to sort of venture out onto these platforms too. But most places come furnished as well, so you don't need to send over a heap of stuff. You can just come whatever you can bring, and clothes are pretty cheap too when you get to the UK, so you'll save a bit of money there as well, so you don't have to worry too much on the actual spending money on certain I don't know, like a really expensive clothing items. You can just sort of save on that when you get there too. So cool. I'm sorry, just skip the slide here. So you jump in.
I'm really sorry. My mute button was stuck, but it's unstuck. I just wanted to say we do have a lot of cycle lanes in Cardiff and places like that, Jamie, to answer your question.
Yeah, amazing, good stuff. Cool. So we'll keep on looking through as well. So setting up the life. So we've already touched on this one. So a bank account. You probably are thinking, how am I going to get paid when I get to the UK? So we help you out with that. You can sign up for HSBC or Monzo. They're probably the two most common banks. Monzo, most people get a Monzo account. This is done when you get there, so don't sweat because you can't get paid until you're in the UK. So don't worry about this just yet. Mobile phones, there's heaps of different providers. We will try and give you a gift cap SIM card if you come to one of our events before you go to the UK. If not, you can sign up for 3. I know there's Voxo, I think it is another one, which is a really common one. So heaps of different ones you can sign up for. The visa, which we'll touch on in a couple of slides, will give you access to the NHS, which is a healthcare service in the UK. So you don't need to pay for health insurance when you're in the UK, private health, you're covered by the NHS. The visa costs a little bit when you first look at the cost, but it embeds the cost of the NHS, which is a great service when you're there. So if you need to go to doctors, you just sign up to a local GP and you can go get treated straight away. National insurance is essentially the Australian equivalent of a tax file number. So you'll need to apply for that when you get to the UK, and we provide you with the details on how to do that. Again, a lot of this stuff you do when you get to the UK. One of the biggest recommendations I can give to everyone before you get there is to organize an international travel card. So that way, when you jump on the plane, you land in London, you're going to do whatever you got to do, you can access your overseas funds. Really important to do that. So ING and Citibank are the two recommendations that we'd usually give. Or alternatively, you could use Wise as well that offer that, but it's accessing your local currency when you're in the UK. Might sound simple, but not everyone thinks of it. So you don't get stung with international transaction fees. That's a really important one. And if you ever need to send money, British pounds, the pound sterling to an Australian bank account or vice versa, these points here are really handy too. I'll share with you a blog which we've got guide to setting up your funds in the UK. Again, you can find this on the blog page, but if you just wanted to click on this one, bookmark it, it's a really good site that gives you really good insights into a really good blog post into setting up your funds when moving over to the UK as well. So we'll keep on moving through. We've spoken a little bit about community and events at ANZ UK. It's a really big part of what we're about. Obviously, work is super important. We know everyone's focus is going to be getting an amazing school, but we really want to make sure you've got support in terms of a network and a community of educators that you can meet, before you get to the UK and after you arrive as well. So this event, I can see Jamie might be looking closely to see if he can recognise potentially anyone from the team. So this is from our London office from a couple of years ago. It was pre-COVID 2019, where we had about 100 people come. Not everyone's in the photo, to an event, and then done a pub day around London. We've done one of these quite recently, based obviously in our London office, and then this is a good opportunity to meet other people before you travel over. We'll also host events before you get to the UK, and we host a lot of these events in our Britbound Facebook group. So this group here, I'm quickly sharing my screen. I'll send the link into the chat. Jump into this group. Essentially, it's a networking opportunity for you to meet other people who are journeying over. And we've also got these subgroups as well, where people that are arriving in September of this year, Jan of next year, April of the year after, you can meet other people who are literally, as the name may suggest, on a Britbound adventure. So use this group as a networking opportunity. You can post, comment, like. We promise no one bites in the group, at least that we're not aware of. And yeah, if anyone's in here, you've got a similar interest too. So keep an eye out on the Facebook group. Even if you don't use Facebook too often, it is a really good opportunity to meet other people who are journeying over as well. But yeah, keep an eye on the events. When you get to the offices in the UK, we want to invite you into the office to meet other people, to meet the team. We really want to promote that as much as possible. So we've got about 7 minutes to go in our allocated amount of time, but probably about 7 slides to go, guys, as well. So these last 6 or 7 slides, we will skim through them a little bit. Again, as I mentioned at the start, it's not because they're not important slides. We just don't want to chip into everyone's dinner time as well. So, Jamie, do you just want to give us a little bit of overview of some of the sporting affiliations we've got in the UK?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, most of the educators that we have come in here are absolutely sport mad. I know for a fact that there's a few girls in the office that play Aussie football, of which I have no idea of in terms of how that game works or anything like that, but I'm sure you guys absolutely love it. So yeah, we've got a bunch of teams as well that we're affiliated with that you can get involved with. They're all around, you can see here, so we've got Wandsworth there, that's a West London team, South East London Giants, obviously around the South East area. We've got Richmond, which is southwest. So yeah, we've got teams and affiliations dotted around. London in general is just great for sports, like I say. It's so any sport that you can think of, there'll be teams, there'll be clubs and socials that you can get involved in. I play five-a-side football basically every week, and I know a lot of people around the office do that as well. So if you're interested in football or soccer, then there's loads of stuff that you can get involved in. But yeah, obviously, if there's any cricket fans as well, there's loads of cricket teams as well that are going week to week. Yeah, and just loads of good facilities as well all over London, obviously for sports. So yeah, I'm sure there's loads you can get stuck into.
Yeah, and then travel too. Like if you're looking to book any trips as well, just jump onto just speak to the team and give you some codes for Travel Talk, Top Deck. Travel Talk's great. They do really good Morocco and Egypt tours. So if anyone's thinking of going to North Africa, Travel Talk do some really good tours there as well. So they're we've got really well renowned experience from anyone who's ever traveled over there and done that. And then netball too as well. I'm not sure, Jamie, if you just mentioned netball. Apologies if I'm doubling up what you just said. If you're not keen on footy, netball, the Demon Nets is a really good club as well. We don't have as many affiliations with clubs as in Cardiff or the Bristol area as what we do in London, but it is an area that we're looking to expand out with in terms of the amount of clubs that we give you direct links to as well. So, but yeah, just speak to me and the team or the Bristol team, and we'll give you the overview of that. This is this academic year. We need to update these slides so it's next academic year because we're getting close to the end of this academic year, but it is different how it's set up in the UK. So essentially, you've got the 3 terms. You got the autumn term, which is from September till Christmas. Then you've got the spring term, which runs from January until Easter. And then you got the summer term, which runs from after the Easter break up until the July and then the end of the academic year. Every one of these terms, you get a half-term break. So it's set up really well to travel every 6 weeks if you want to. You can arrive at any time of the year if you're looking for casual work, literally at any point. If you're wanting a contract, we really recommend try and arrive at the start of the term. As you'd expect, start of the term, the school would be looking for a longer term teacher to start. The biggest consideration if you want to arrive in the summer term is that it's great time to arrive. The sun shines. Jamie mentioned it's a good time to be getting about. However, you've just got 6 weeks of travel, which you need to factor in terms of when you sign in a lease, the schools won't be open as well. So just factor that into your savings plan that if you arrive in May, it's a great time to arrive, but you have 6 weeks where you might be having to look at, traveling or just figuring something out. It's just something to be across. It's not a deal breaker. It's a beautiful time to arrive because you skip a winter. So I recommend to consider doing it if you can, but just be across that summer break. I'll move through these slides a bit quickly just to sort of go through as an overview. We talked through this on the initial call. Most people might be thinking, how do I actually apply to work in the UK from a visa perspective? So these are the most common visas you look to apply for. The vast majority of people on this call will be applying for the Youth Mobility Visa, which is an under 31, once in a lifetime working holiday visa. The visa is changing in the coming 12 to 24 months because the Oz and UK governments reached a free trade agreement. So it's changing from an under 31 to an under 35-year visa and from a 2-year visa to a 3-year visa. There's just no date set in place for that change, but there will be a change coming into place. Costs about £1,200 to apply for the visa, and you can apply within 6 months of your intent to arrive within the UK. So if you think in January 2023, July onwards, you can apply for the visa. We have a visa support team who can assist you with the visa application process. It's a relatively straightforward process, but we recommend to consider the visa support team just because there are lots of nuances with the application, and it is just important just to be across, like each of the steps as well, because it is easy to make mistakes. If you've got a British grandparent, celebrate. Thank you, Grandma, Grandpa. Means you're eligible for an ancestry visa, which is a 5-year visa. Only eligible if you've got a grandparent born in the UK. Is a lot more expensive, the visa, but it means you get 5 years of the visa. If you don't want to pay that much, you can apply for the Youth Mobility Visa first and then the Ancestry Visa after. The Skilled Worker Visa is the visa which you can get if you're not eligible for the above two, and that's available through a sponsorship job offer from a UK school. So the only way you can get that is if a school employs you, not ANZ UK. If you're thinking, I'm eligible for the Youth Mobility Visa, but I want to stay in the UK for longer, if you're loving it and you're really vibing it, you don't want to leave Hackney, you don't want to leave Cardiff, which is very common thing to happen, a school can sponsor you to stay on. So you don't just have to stay for 2 years, you can stay for longer if you want, and that's through the Skilled Worker Visa as well. And then the school would be your employer. And then of course, if you've got a British passport or a partner or spousal visa, that's another avenue you can look at as well. I'll quickly go through these slides again. Apologies, Jamie and me. I'll probably just roll through these ones nice and quick, just so we can get the guys off to enjoy the evening. Few minutes to go. So we'll need a few of the steps that we'll need. So part of the initial call process, we'll request a CV. We give you a template you can use. We'll also request a photo from yourself as well. And we recommend, if you want a long-term role, to do a video personal statement. We give you all these resources after we speak with you, but the CV and the photo is something we will need. We need references to backdate 2 years as well. And that would be from whenever you leave and the 2 years prior to that. So, and that would be if you're at a school, a line manager, assistant head teacher, assistant principal, an AP, head of department, whatever it is. If you're a graduate, it would be your mentor referees and also your employment history too. Teaching assistants, it's employment history. So pretty much 2 years from when you arrive, that's what we need. Everyone on the call will need a police check, an Australian or UK police check. This has recently changed, so we need to change this slide, but if you've lived overseas for more than a year in the past 10 years, then you'll need a police check from that country. So if you done a summer camp in America that you went for 3 months, you don't need a police check from America. If you lived in America for a year, we'll need a police check from there. Most people just need an Aussie one, but everyone will need to get a UK one. The checks cost about $150 total, and we assist you with processing those checks, and the compliance team assist you as well. But these are the core things that we need. On top of this, so we also need to cite your academic qualification via an e-qual if you're a teacher. So we'll give you the links to be able to do that closer to the date when you arrive. And we will share these slides as well, guys, so don't think you have to jot everything down. You'll have to do safeguarding training, which is the equivalent of mandatory reporting in the UK. So we'll need to make sure you do that before you get to the UK. We'll give you the course and the logins and all that to do that. A QTS and an EWC. So if you're a fully registered teacher in Australia, you can apply for a QTS and an EWC. And essentially, there's a mutual recognition for our teaching full accreditation in the UK. If you're a graduate teacher, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. We won't dive into it too much, but we can address this in a call together. In England, you can teach for up to 4 years as an overseas trained teacher if you're not fully registered. So if you've got your provisional VIT, you can teach for up to 4 years as an overseas trained teacher. In Wales, it's a little different. You have to work as what's called an instructor. You'll do the exact same job, but it's technically as an instructor and not as a qualified teacher, because it's not recognised, the provisional registration in Wales as it is in England. Little bit complicated. We'll talk you through it, but essentially you can teach in both countries, but how your degree is recognised is slightly different in England and Wales if you're a grad. If you're fully qualified, it's exactly the same. It's just called QTS or EWC. We will make sure we book you in for a virtual registration, and we'll do an interview process within 2 months of your intent to arrive in the UK. So if you're looking to arrive in January, you'll have a virtual registration, hopefully around about November time. So that way you're all cleared to go when you first get there. Travel requirements. So this slide changes constantly, but it hasn't changed recently, which is great. So obviously COVID-19 has been an ever-evolving situation that we're living through globally. And we hope that there is, I guess, international travel, the prospects remain as they are, which is really, I guess, a lot more responsible and safe to make the journey over, which is great. So we're really excited about what's ahead. There's a good chance you won't need to pay too much attention to this slide in terms of testing requirements, because you don't need to test before you get to the UK anymore. And we don't envision that will change, but we update you if it does. We really recommend get travel insurance, really promote that as much as possible. When you're doing any international travel, you need to book travel insurance when you're going overseas in Europe. When you're in the UK, you're covered by the NHS. But if you book a trip overseas, you're not covered. So you need to book travel insurance. So really remember that one. And if you're not vaccinated, we do recommend to be vaccinated before traveling over to the UK, even though there isn't a teacher vaccine mandate as there has been here in Australia. So which is recommended from ANZ UK to be vaccinated. Jamie, I know we've got to roll a couple minutes over, but you wanted to talk about a couple of recent stories. I know that from some recent arrivals that have touched down in the UK. It's not Hayley and Emma, but you've got a few stories you wanted to share.
Yeah, you can see Hayley and Emma's story there. I just wanted to talk basically about our most recent arrivals. We just obviously we've had more and more people arrive in the last couple of months because of the changing in rules, which is just fantastic to see. A couple of weeks ago, actually, we had, I think it was about 4 overseas educators that had come from Australia that actually went on a trip to Edinburgh with some people from the office. So we try and keep that relationship between, like, obviously the workers here and with the educators that are coming over really strong. So yeah, there's loads of different connections that you can make, whether that's fellow people that are in the same situation as you traveling over from Oz, or whether it's actually some of the Aussie staff that we have here, and obviously our UK staff here as well. We like to, like I say, we like to make friends. We have frequent socials, and like I say, even sometimes go on holiday together and things like that. So whatever happens, like the first sort of few weeks you're here, I'm sure you're going to be so busy, and there's going to be so many different things that you can do. We'll do our best to, you know, make that as fun as possible, basically.
Yeah, spot on. And then in terms of like why ANZ UK, so hopefully we've given you the overview of working and partnering with ANZ UK. If you're still thinking whether you should do it or not, obviously you can reach out to our team or the team, Jamie in Wales, Jamie and Mia in Wales. But we've got lots of resources available on our blog page, exceptional talents and online learning management system. So you can do PD before you get to the UK to be schooled up on all things teaching and living in the UK. Jump into the Facebook group if you haven't already. I'll accept everyone tonight. We really want to support you and make you a part of an educated community, and the 360 support too. So it's not just about us getting you a job in the UK and then not talking to you for 2 years. We'll keep connected with you across the whole time you're there, because we want to partner with you in the whole time you're in the UK, but then also when you come home as well to New Zealand too. So we really want to give you that 360 support and service. And then get amongst the events. They're fun. I remember when I was teaching, I was able to come to some. I'm lucky enough to work in the office now and play a role in supporting and leading on the events. And yeah, they really are good fun. So come to as many of those as you like. If you're in Melbourne, you'll meet myself and the team. If you're somewhere else in Australia, or New Zealand, you'll meet the team there. You'll definitely get to meet the guys in the UK when you get there too. So make sure you come into the office and we'll get around you as much as we can. But yeah, thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. You know, jump onto our Facebook page, jump onto Instagram if you're not following us there too. Jump into the Facebook group, which we mentioned. If you've got anyone in your network, please feel free to share on their details. We're happy to have a call with them. And then, yeah, we want to hear about your plans. So I'll send a follow-up email that will outline the slide pack. Hopefully we get the recording in there. If it's not, we've had a couple of issues with Zoom recordings for some weird reason, but hopefully we won't this time. And we'll share that with you too. And yeah, there'll be a link in the email that I'll send that will have a link to a calendar link. And if you're based in depends on where you are in Oz, New Zealand, you'll have opportunity to book a call with myself, Jackie, or Claire. So click on that link and then you can book a call with us at any time that suits you best. I'll be away for a month because I'm going to the UK, so you might not catch me for that time window, but hopefully you can catch anyone there. So did we have any questions at all? Feel free to turn off the mic, turn off the mute, turn on the mic. Is probably the easy way to put it. I know we've got a couple questions which I'll address now, but feel free to turn the camera on if you like. I know Chloe, you got a question. If I'm looking to come over for the start of the school year in 2023, when is the best time to get the ball rolling? So yeah, Chloe, you could have a conversation with us anytime in the next few weeks or the month ahead. And there's no times too early for our initial call. We look to put you in contact with the team in the UK within 12 months of your intent to arrive. So the start of the school year 2023 is September. So you'd have a conversation with a UK team member from September onwards. But prior to that, you could speak to us and we can talk you through the steps of the process. So definitely, have those conversations with us as soon as you like. The birth cutoffs, Amanda, I know you got a question there about the birth cutoff dates for parents. Have a speak. I'm not sure if that was a question. Apologies, I've confused myself there. I might park that one, Amanda. I've lost myself there. Does anyone have any other questions though that wanted to chime in? Or Hayley, you've got one. Is there any time that is too soon to go over? Any time that is too soon. Do you want to elaborate on that one, Hayley, or Jamie? Do you know what might be meaning there? Or
yeah, like, is there any like what's, I guess, the earliest time that you could be like set up to go? Like if I was looking to go like this year, in the next couple of months? Like when's like probably the soonest time?
Yeah, spot on. Do you have you have to apply for the visa, Hayley, or do you have a right to work already?
I can get a British passport, so.
Oh, amazing. So it's
Yeah.
all that's the biggest question. It's like, how long would it take for your right to work to be approved? From
Yeah.
that, straight after that, we can assist. If you had your British passport, you jumped on a plane tomorrow, we'd have to go through the references, do the registration process, but there would honestly be a chance that you'd get work next week. We could turn it around really quickly. It's all about the right to work and how long it takes you to get that back. The youth mobility visa application process usually takes anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks. It really does vary. So we recommend try and allow 2 months, no sooner than that if you really want to get there. So like if you know you're going to leave in January, don't wait to November to organize the passport or your youth mobility visa. Organize that now. But as soon as you turn that around, we can help out straight away.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thank you.
Good. Great question though. And then Chloe, you've got one. How much time should we allow to move over? Oh, but you're helping me answer that one. Sorry. But yeah, give yourself a couple months. Like you want to set yourself up. There's lots of things about the move. Savings is a big thing too. You want to make sure you've got the available money to be able to not just rely on your income from working. Obviously you can support yourself off a teaching wage, but you don't want to have to wait for your first paycheck to book a trip to Spain. You want to be able to book a trip to Spain because you want to go on a trip to Spain. And then that's a really not good thing to have that savings. There's really no magic number. 10,000 Australian dollars is probably a good benchmark to sort of start with, because you got to factor in your upfront cost of rent. You have to pay 6 weeks deposit for rent usually, and then your first month's bond. That takes up a big chunk of your available savings when you first get there. I know I personally had about 6,000 Australian dollars when I arrived. I remember it because I'd spent a lot of my money traveling. I went on a 4-month Euro trip. So I had about that in my bank account and I got through just fine. But yeah, if you can save more than that, great. But you could do it from $5,000 to $10,000 essentially. And yeah, great question there, Chloe. Is there a fee to sign up with ANZ UK? There's absolutely no costs associated with partnering with ANZ UK for your journey over. So we will pay you so we'll partner with you and you'll get your daily rate, and that daily rate is what you'll receive. There's no hidden cost associated with that. There's no asterisks. You need to contribute tax and then you need to pay your national insurance over in the UK. But your pay is what you get. How we operate as a business, you're probably thinking there, it's like that's another good question to lead in from that. We have a relationship with our schools, and we'll charge out schools a set daily rate. So it's our relationship with our partner schools. That's how we operate. But there's no hidden fees associated with working with ANZ UK. So your pay is what you get. And yeah, there's no asterisks on that whatsoever. The police checks is the only thing which you need to pay for, but that's not an ANZ UK cost. That's something which everyone has to bear. And then the visa. So you pretty much the visa and the police check costs, they're the costs you have to factor in, and then accommodation, stuff like that too. But yeah, no hidden agency costs as well. So Zoe, a good question. So do you think it's best to go straight to a permanent contract, or do you think a casual position is more realistic to begin with? It really depends on personal preference. If it's a school that you're, absolutely, as a great initial conversation with the school and it resonates strongly with you, the ethos is in alignment with what you're looking for, then yeah, jump into it. The contract opportunity is a really good way to start. Usually it's through a long-term supply contract where you're still employed through ANZ UK. So it might not necessarily be a permanent contract, but you'd still be working with ANZ UK in the same capacity as a full ongoing teacher, but through ANZ UK. Sometimes schools, it's a perfect fit. Your references come back great, and the school might offer you a permanent contract straight off the bat, but it's usually through a long-term supply contract to start. But yeah, it's all personal preference. We can look at either for you as well. I know Jamie and Mia, like they said, they're working on September roles at the moment, but we also need teachers to help casually too, because teachers call in sick on any given day, so we need to make sure we've got available staff to assist in the mornings as well. So, Jamie or Mia, do you want to help with this one? So if you want to or not, well, actually maybe
Yeah.
I could be better placed because it is an Australian-based question. But Jamie, you have a go and answer it if you want, mate.
I was just going to say, just in terms of just the general day, usually for a secondary teacher is from about 8:30 to 3:30. over in, it can vary from time to time. Sometimes some schools will finish at 4, but it's usually 3:30, and usually it depends on the role that you get, obviously. But if you're on a supply, everything's going to be planned for you anyway. Obviously, I mean, it will be down to the school if they'll allow you to kind of do extra stuff outside the curriculum, use the resources that you've accrued. But if you're just doing day-to-day supply or a long-term supply booking, usually most of those lessons will be planned. If it's more obviously a permanent position or more longer term, then there'll probably be a bit more wiggle room in terms of that, and you'll be expected to do a bit more, basically.
Yeah, but build up that bank though as well, like that sense, like if you've got resources, bring them over for sure. The UK curriculum is very similar to the Australian curriculum across all subjects, but there are differences. So jump on the national, I'll quickly, for that question for you, Chloe, I'll send you a quick link just so you can have a look through. But there's the UK government, the UK national curriculum. So have a look on that, and then you'll see some differences as well. I'm just going to quickly share this link with you so you can just bookmark this tab if you like, and then just look at what resources are available. But the transition over is really workable from the English classroom in Oz to the classroom over in the UK as well. But put everything in the cloud, bring a hard drive, do whatever you're going to do, and then if it works, great, or if it doesn't work, just adapt it to make sure it works for that cohort of students. If you're not familiar with Shakespeare, as an English teacher, make sure you read a Shakespeare book before you get there. It's a very cliche, but Shakespeare is always taught in the UK. So make sure you school yourself up on that. But if you haven't done that before, then that's fine as well. The schools are really supportive with the transition over, so they'll have resources available too most of the time. Mia, we've got a question from Haley, who is Cardiff bound, which we love to see, around is there work available for casual work as a teaching assistant in Cardiff and the Valleys?
Yes, so much of it as well. I think the majority of stuff I'm getting in the minute around Cardiff and the Valleys is casual teaching assistant work. A lot of the time, I think that's a really good way to get to know schools as well, because a lot of the time, if you fit well in the schools, and you like the schools, and obviously the schools like you, those things do normally go a little bit longer term. So it could be, can we have Harley for the next 2 weeks, and then when that 2 weeks is up, okay, we need it for another 2 weeks, and then it's up to you then to sort of assess whether you want to do that or try something else. But you'll be completely fine if you're looking for that in those areas.
Amazing.
Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thank you so much for everyone tuning in. We really appreciate it. It's so exciting to see some few faces on the call, and see some other names that are popping up as well. So yeah, as I mentioned, expect the follow-up to come through tomorrow with the slides. And yeah, look forward to meeting you, seeing you, speaking to you, and getting you over there, assisting in getting you over there with our team here in Oz and New Zealand, to get you in schools in the UK and get amongst all the events that we'll host as well. So yeah, awesome, guys. Well, without further ado, we'll call it an evening. Have a lovely afternoon, and yeah, we look forward to catching up with you soon, and we look forward to seeing you in the UK. Thank you, Jamie, and thank you, Mia.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks a lot.